Did you hear what Instagram is doing with the platform? The
I
changes
don't
that they're
know.
making?
I've been such a ghost this last week because I was on vacation.
Okay. Well, that's good. I mean,
Yeah.
from what I heard, actually, it's the what do you call it? CEO of Instagram. Is that a thing?
The COO or the CEO?
CEO, yeah. The
Okay.
master of Instagram,
The person,
the most Instagramist person.
the head bitch in charge.
Yeah. Well, he said that Instagram is going to change into more of an e-commerce platform. I know.
Oh,
So you look, Chelsea.
okay.
You're like, what?
That
Yeah. Well,
sounds
apparently,
interesting.
it's shifting from photo sharing to more of e-commerce.
How
Yeah.
are they doing that and why?
Well, I think there's so many people now who are sharing products and places. It's kind of that's what happened to Instagram. It naturally evolved into a place where people show off services, products, and all that stuff, right? Businesses, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um, I think it's a natural progression of things, and people are kind of upset. But I'm thinking like, why are you getting upset? Because if you don't like those type of accounts, you're not following them anyway.
Yeah.
Um, but I mean, I guess I understand why they're getting upset. But it's like there's a lot of other photo sharing sites out there, Facebook.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I feel like Instagram has been so much more than just a photo sharing site for years.
Yeah, definitely,
I
definitely.
mean, in 2012, when it was launched, like it was just for photo sharing. I think since then, it's been so much more.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree.
So,
So
and I I fully understand why Instagram would move in that direction if that's where like other platforms are probably going in that direction. They don't want to feel left behind. Number one, number two, like you said, there are so many people that are sharing products and stuff on that site. I mean, like us. So
yeah, like us, it's our fault.
it's our fault.
It's
Oops,
our fault that Instagram is changing. We broke Instagram, Chelsea.
we broke it. That's okay. I'd be all right with that.
Yeah, that'll be fine.
Hi, this is Chelsea.
This is Michael, and we are Coffee with Creators.
Come sit with us and let's talk about content creation and all things creative.
So welcome to our scrappy little podcast.
Yay, welcome.
Chelsea,
Yeah.
I have a game for you.
Okay.
You are going to tell me, you're going to guess the age of this person that I'm going to describe.
Okay.
Okay?
All right.
This person is a foodie.
Okay.
This person likes to drink,
Okay.
like casually. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, socially.
Mm-hmm.
This person prefers to live in an urban environment, like urban living, like, you know,
Mm-hmm.
city, all that stuff.
Okay.
This person is a serial dater. Likes to go on
Okay.
dates, likes to meet
Yeah.
people. This person is lives with his parents, his or her parents.
Okay.
Can you tell me the age that you think this person is?
They're definitely under 30.
Okay.
So I
If
guess
you were-
that I guess that doesn't make them a millennial. I guess maybe a Gen Zer.
Okay.
Is that the right one?
And if you were to guess the age, what would you say? What would be the age that you would think? Like you said,
20,
under 30,
25.
right? 25? Okay. That's a good guess.
I'm 31, yeah.
Okay. That's a good guess.
I'll say 25.
Which character do you think, like TV character, do you think would fit the bill for this person? It can be
Oh
anyone.
my god.
Yeah. But you think that,
Like past and present shows?
yeah.
Oh my god, I don't know why I went straight to Friends even though none of them live in their parents'
That's true.
houses, but I'm going to say Joey.
Joey. Okay. So Joey, right? So it
Yeah.
kind of describes Joey. Well, I got some bad news for you, Chelsea.
Oh shit.
This
Okay.
person describes Fraser Crane.
Shut up.
Fraser Crane from that show in the 90s, right? I think
Yeah.
his show started in the late 80s or early 90s or something like that. And
That's so
he,
funny.
get this, was in his 30s.
Oh
So
my God.
that character was in his 30s. So just think about that. So now
good.
we are Fraser Crane, Chelsea.
We're Frasier.
People are looking at us and they're saying, Look at these two old people.
Old people. We're
It's
old
insane.
people. Yeah.
Yeah, well, I just saw this article by the New Yorker, and it was really interesting. It was actually forwarded by my cousin, and it says 6 things millennials have in common with Dr. Fraser Crane. And number 1, he was a foodie. His generation popularized avocado toast, apparently. He likes like fictional, or like he just likes dining out, basically, and he liked to drink. He preferred living in the city. Obviously, he lived in Seattle, I think. And then he was a serial dater. So when you say serial dater, the first thing you think about is Tinder, all that stuff, right? But apparently he did that, because I didn't really watch the show. I watched I didn't either. Little episodes of it every now and then, but I liked it. Yeah. And he was also our age. So I think it says that during... It's horrible. I'm like, no.
Terrifying.
I know. Let's see. I think it says, let me see. I can't remember where it says his age, but he basically was, I think he was in his 35 or something, 36. Okay. Isn't that insane?
Yeah. Because I was young when that show was out. Yeah. And I remember thinking he was like a super old man, and now I know that he's 35.
I was young too. I think if I were to guess, I probably started watching a show like in the mid 90s, which is like, let's just say 1995. I was 14. I was still a kid. Yeah. So even to me back then, he was like, look at this old man.
The old man, like, I thought he was so old. I thought he had kids on that show.
Right? Yeah. So
he didn't. That's so funny.
Kind of hurt my feelings. And my knee.
It definitely hurts my feelings.
And my back. It hurts everything.
My ankles.
My ankles. But yeah, I thought it was a pretty interesting article, and I thought that was just fun to share.
Yeah, that was fun. I like that little game.
Yeah, I mean, I think we should add more of those little games.
We should.
From this point on, yeah, it's
fun.
It just changes things up a bit. So how you been, Chelsea?
I've been good. The kids and I were on vacation. So we're back this week, and we were supposed to go back next week to Tennessee so James could go, but I think we're leaning on not going because it was such an exhausting week last week. Like, I just don't want to do it again. I told James he could go with the kids, and he's like, no.
He was like, come on, James, you can take your new Civic.
I know. He knows that. But I have to go back the week of the 24th anyways because I'm meeting Rachel there. So I told him, I was like, I really kind of just want to like stay at home, and I've got jobs coming in where I finally said yes to a couple of companies. And so I was like, I'm just, no, I'm not vibing it. And so I don't know what he's doing yet, but I told him I'm staying at home.
Isn't it funny how coming back from a vacation makes you feel like you need another vacation?
Right? Especially with kids, and, all of our family lives there. And so we were running around, we were seeing everyone. The kids were exhausted. I'm exhausted. We did nothing but swim and play outside, eat so many vegetables. My mom has a garden. We ate nothing but like cucumbers and all kinds of good stuff. So we had a blast. The kids were basically like feral children for a week because my mom, she lives on a farm. So they just like in and out, like no shoes. I don't even think they bathed, but like twice.
I saw the pictures in your stories, the farm pictures. They're beautiful. Like
so pretty there. It's very
the golden hour, the one that you took with the horses.
Wasn't that great?
Yeah, I'm like, oh, it looks nice. It's one of those things that I've always wanted. I've always wanted to live in a farm. I know, probably a weird thing, but my cousin was asking me, if you had the money, if you had the time, if you had the resources, where would you live, and what type of setting? So a lot of my friends would say, I'd live in the city in the middle of New York or in a high rise or whatever.
Manhattan.
Yeah. I'm like,
I'd be right in the middle.
Put me dab smack in the middle of like Colorado or something. I just want a big, like nice house with a big yard and just like mountains in front of me. And I don't want neighbors.
That's James too. Like James and I have completely different views on that because I want to be like right in the city center. I want to be able to walk everywhere. I want to like bike to get the groceries. And he's like, no. He's like, I want to move to your mom's house. I'm like, you go there. I'm going to New York. See you later.
James and I will definitely get along. I like that
for
stuff
sure.
too. Yeah.
For sure.
I don't know why. Because I feel like
so laid back.
I feel like because I'm away from everything, I am in control whether I want to add more to my life It's a weird thing that I feel. But if I'm in the middle of the city, I feel like it's, well, it's like I can't help it. Like people are around me, things are around me. Now I have to get away from it. So maybe it's that thing. But speaking of the little game that we played in the beginning, can you tell me any instance in your life where sorry, my throat's a little sore this morning.
You're doing a lot of podcasting, I know.
Not only that, it's like a lot of yelling. It's been a hectic morning. So the kids were just like, I was trying to shuffle them out of the house basically, or I had to take my son to my in-laws' house, and I was rushing. I was like, I need to go get back because we were recording, right? So I'm like, I need to get back. I need to prepare something. And they're like, da 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 da. Like, oh my God. Like, please.
They do not care. My kids are the same way. So my kids hadn't gone to school, or like right now it's like daycare for Emma, of course. And then it's at the same place, but it's summer camp for Luca. They do like a lot of summer camp things. And so of course they weren't there for a week because we were at my mom's house. And so getting them out the door this morning was painful.
Yeah.
They didn't want to get dressed. They didn't want to wear the clothes that we picked out. They wanted Daddy to take them, and they wanted Mommy to take them, and then they didn't want to go at all. And then they just wanted to sit at home and eat Pop-Tarts. And you're like, oh, get in the car.
Seriously?
James left without Emma's shoes. I had to turn around and go drop her shoes off at daycare. He drops her off with no shoes on.
You guys just didn't care. You just like, get him out of the house.
Yeah, he was like, I'm just going to go ahead and drop him off. You just bring the shoes. I ended up getting there before he had left, so I handed him the shoes. He ran them in.
It feels like a circus. Like when you have kids, it feels like they are the what do you call it? The ring master leader?
We're the ring masters. They are the...
No, they are monkeys. The ring masters. We are the monkeys at this point.
Oh.
Because it's like my 2-year-old... He goes, like, I was putting him in the car seat because my wife was going to go drive to work. She's going to drop off our 5-year-old to daycare. And she's going to drop off my son, my 2-year-old, to my in-laws' house, her mom's house. And he just wouldn't have it. He's like, I want to ride in the different car. He keeps saying, different car. I'm like, what the heck? He wants me to take him in a different car.
Yeah. I know how that goes. My daughter is the same way, because what we were going to do is I was going to take them and then James was going to pick them up, because I leave to go to Starbucks in the morning anyways, and it's kind of on the way. And then for James, it's on the way for, like, he's already out coming home, so it makes more sense. No, she didn't want that. She wanted Daddy to take her. So Daddy took her. Aren't we terrible? We're just like, okay, fine, whatever.
I know. I was going to say that. Yeah, that's why we are the monkeys, because we do whatever they want. Whatever they want.
Yeah. Listen to this. Okay, so I picked out her clothes. I had everything laid out downstairs for both of them. I had shorts and a t-shirt. Obviously, it's summer. We're in South Georgia. It's like 1,000,000 degrees. She didn't want that. So James brings down pants and a long sleeve shirt. I start to put that on her. She didn't want that. She wanted the shorts, and then she was like, do you want the long... I said, do you want the long sleeve shirt? And she said, yes. So I go to put it on her, and she's like, I don't want it. I don't want it. She's like pulling at this shirt.
Oh, no.
And I was like, take it off. Just take it off. So I took it off, and I go to put the tank top on her. She's like, no, short sleeves. I was like, James, get her a short sleeve shirt. We're just yelling back and forth at each other. He's upstairs going, what?
Yeah, that was kind of my morning. So that's
Disaster.
why. And the funny thing was, I was trying very hard to make sure that no one gets stressed in the morning. Like, I'm pretty good at it usually. Especially, I don't want to send Lynn, my wife, to work stressed out.
Yeah.
But we all ended up being stressed out.
It's like stressful every day for us. Like, we're the worst 4 morning people you will ever meet in your life. I'm probably the worst just because, like, getting up is so depressing to me. I'm just like, oh, I don't want to. Yeah. And James, it takes him forever to get up. But once he gets up, he's fine. And then the kids are just buttholes in the morning.
I'm a morning person, so my son is usually as well. So I have no problems. But today was kind of a struggle. But anyway,
It's It's like Monday today.
I know. It's like Monday every day when you have kids. But
Yeah.
I was saying earlier, related to what we were talking about in the beginning about Fraser Crane. You know how we looked at him and we said, he's like a grown up. Can you name an instant in your life where you felt like you were a grown up? Like where you go, I'm definitely a grown up. I'm definitely an adult. Like it can be the silliest thing.
I have so many of those. Okay. So when we moved here to this house, buying the house, I mean, I didn't feel like an adult, even though I did all the signing of the paperwork. James is still in Hawaii, so I did all of that. Still didn't feel like an adult. When you buy a new construction home, it doesn't come with a refrigerator, correct? It comes with everything else, like the stove, the dishwasher, the microwave, everything. But I had to go and buy a refrigerator. As I was buying the refrigerator, so I bought the refrigerator and a washer and dryer because we sold ours in Hawaii because I wanted a new one anyways.
Yeah.
And so I bought a refrigerator, washer and dryer from Lowe's, like all at the same time. And my dad was with me and we were picking it out and I bought it and I was like, my God, I feel like an adult. And he's like, what? I was like, I just bought a refrigerator and a washer and dryer. I am the epitome of an adult. And he's like, okay.
I can live on my own.
Yep, I got it. I'm 29 and I'm doing it.
Well, your story is much better than mine.
Okay.
Because
I can't wait.
I grew up in the Philippines, and in the Philippines, it's either you had a washer and dryer if you like at your house, right? Like if you have this space, or if you have the extra income, or you can spare like the part of it. It's basically part of like your monthly like expense is you hire someone to wash your clothes, and they're very affordable, relatively speaking, very affordable. So my entire life, someone's been taking care of my clothes. Someone's been washing it, and not my mom, not my sister, just the laundry lady. I think I can't even remember what we called her, but so she took care of the clothes. And when I moved here, we didn't always have a washer and dryer in the, especially when I moved to, actually when I moved with Lynn before we got married, there was a time when the washer and dryer were broken. And so she was working and I wasn't at the time. So she gave me the task of taking the clothes to the laundromat, put in the clothes, put in the coins, sat back down, and I'm like, I feel like an adult.
Such an adult. I'm washing my clothes.
I'm washing my clothes using these coins. I'm an adult.
It's so funny. So how old were you at that point?
I was already in my I think I was 29.
Oh, that's good. We had the same washer and dryer experience at 29. I was 29 too.
Okay, yeah.
That was our third one that we had bought, but I think it was buying the refrigerator, and that was like, it wasn't even our first new like washer and dryer. I was gonna say it was our first new washer and dryer, but it wasn't. It was like
I see.
Our second new one, but first refrigerator. We had never had to buy a refrigerator. So stupid, right?
Yeah, it's very actually paying taxes. That's filling out those tax forms. That's when I started like.
That's another one.
I hate doing this.
That's true.
I hate doing this. Yeah. So, what else? I think in Oregon.
Renewing. Do what?
In Oregon, we went to Oregon before, and was it Oregon? Yeah, in Portland. And I think in Portland, you have to pump your own gas, if I'm not mistaken.
You don't have to do that everywhere?
Wait. Oh, no, I'm sorry. Like you basically have someone pump the gas for you. Sorry, yeah.
Oh, in Oregon, they do it for you.
They do it for you, yeah. So it's like it's like a full service gasoline station. Yeah. I remember sitting there and I'm like, someone's doing it for me. It's like, am I an adult? I just remembered that instance where I was kind of confused. Like, do I feel like more of a kid that someone's doing it for me, but I'm sitting in the driver's seat, or do I feel more like an adult? You know, it's like asking someone else to do it for me.
This is more, I am a refined adult. They are pumping my gas.
Excuse me, sir.
Excuse me. Charles.
So yeah, those are paying taxes, filling out forms, renewing driver's license. Is that what you were going to say?
I was going to say renewing driver's license, and because you don't have to do that, but every 10 years.
Yeah.
Also, something I'm doing right now is renewing my passport because it expired last year. And, you know,
Oh.
that's every 10 years too. And
Yeah.
so I'm like, man, I do feel like an adult. Like, I can travel the world with this sucker.
I know. But we still couldn't figure out how to make this audio system work.
Yeah, no.
No, just that selective skills, basically.
Selective skill. I have
Only the
small.
essentials.
Just small essential skills. Buy a refrigerator.
Well, that's awesome. How's the whatchamacallit, just like your movie script going? I know you
It's
haven't
going.
been
I mean, of course, we haven't really been working on it until we can get
some
together
FaceTime,
next
yeah.
week.
Mm-hmm.
So it's going to be good. I'm really excited. I mean, we've done a lot of like character building and story building, but as far as like really meshing it all together, we have not done that yet. And that's what we're going to do the week of the 24th. So that's exciting.
So it's
Rachel, do
Go
what?
ahead. Oh, I was just gonna ask, is it gonna be a reoccurring meeting then? Like after you get some FaceTime, actual FaceTime?
We're gonna probably have to do this, like meet somewhere. Either she comes here, we go back to my mom's, or I go to her house. We're gonna have to do it probably at least 2 or 3 more times just to get the script done. And then once we start looking for a producer, I mean, we're gonna have to meet then. And then we talked about shooting a sizzle reel and that type of stuff to get it sold and in production. So I mean, we're gonna be spending lots of time
That's
with
cool.
each other, I assume.
I just wanted to know more about like that whole process. I'm just
I'll let you
absolutely
know.
curious. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
All I know is from the very little that I learned in film school and then from Rachel. I didn't even know, like, when you were trying to sell your own, like, indie film or try to get it pushed through Netflix or, like, at all. I didn't know you had to have a sizzle reel or some type of, like, Bible that tells you, that gives you the feel of what the movie is going to look like when it's finished.
oh, interesting.
Like, I had no clue. I had no clue you had to do that.
So is it like almost like a mood board in
No,
form of
it's not a mood board because the director does the mood board, you know, in production or pre-production.
So a sizzle reel would be what? How long usually?
Like 4 or 5 minutes, just just giving you an overall feel. It doesn't have to be like the actual people in it that you want in the actual film. It's just like an overall feel of what the writer has suspected the outcome of the film to be.
So it's kind of like a mock-up, basically.
Yeah, you could probably describe it like that.
Can you imagine? Yeah. Can you imagine the sizzle reel for someone like Michael Bay, for example, when he first did Transformers? It'll be a bunch of like people in cardboard boxes, like, oh, I'm a giant robot walking around.
I feel like for that they probably did.
So
they probably hired. They probably hired a graphic designer and just did like the Bible, the book.
I see.
And had so for the Bibles, you don't even have to have like actual images that you've taken. You can pull content from other things that you want to have the same feel as your your script.
I see. So is it kind of like when you go on YouTube and someone makes their own trailer based out of different movies? They cut different scenes and
That's a good way to explain it.
Okay. See, I'm terrible at this. Like already I'm thinking, hire my neighbor, put some cardboard boxes on him, make him act like he's a giant robot.
Technically, yes.
Okay.
Because Rachel and I talked about, like, if we decide to shoot a sizzle reel, she's like, we can do it somewhere in Missouri. Like, we can hire friends to do it. And then when we talked about doing the Bible, I was like, I know loads of graphic designers. I was like, I know I can find someone to do that for us.
Yeah.
So,
it's so much work.
It's a lot, especially when you're, we're not going to do it all ourselves. We're going to do as much as we can. And then obviously we're hiring a producer and.
Yeah. No, I'm just saying, like, I'm just starting to realize how much work it is. And that's just to try to get it sold.
Oh, yeah. That's not even getting it sold or into production. That's just giving the overall feel of what the writer suspects the end outcome will look like.
Look at that. I learned something new today. That's awesome.
I know. Well, so we started this in February. We only have like the first 12 pages down. But we have so much other like story building that we've done, because when you think about it, you have your main characters, of course, and then each main character has a backstory and all these other people in their lives that have all of these other like side stories, and you're building this fake town and all of this stuff. It's a lot of work. Like, no wonder it takes years to get movies finished.
I can't even imagine how some of these authors finish books.
Oh my God.
Like
they just have to lock themselves in a room, I'm sure, and
it's
just
insane.
crank it out.
It's insane. It's like, first of all, like, how do you, I read this book. Well, when I say read, I'm kind of cheating because I listen to audiobooks.
I do too.
Yeah.
I haven't read a book like in so long, but I listen to so many audiobooks.
Yeah, so I listen to a lot of audiobooks as well, and I've listened to this one. It's by Andy Weir, I think that's his name, and the title of the book is Hail Mary. He's the same guy who wrote The Martian. Have you seen The Martian?
Oh, with what's his name? Shoot.
Matt Damon.
Matt Damon?
Matt
okay,
Damon.
Maybe not. Maybe I haven't seen that one.
Okay, yeah. So he's basically he got stuck in Mars, and it's so well written.
I've heard of that. Yeah.
Yeah, you should watch it, Chelsea. I swear to God, Lynn is gonna hate me, but it was so realistic. She thought it was a documentary.
Lynn.
We haven't gotten to Mars yet. You're so pretty.
I won't tell her you said that about her.
Good thing you're pretty. No, I'm just kidding. So I always tell her that.
You're gonna get smacked.
I still get smacked regardless.
That's good. Yeah.
So
I believe that.
No, it's a really realistic, very science-based type of movie. It's one of my favorite, like top 3 favorite movies.
Okay.
And so the guy who wrote that, he's so much into the science of it. He wrote another book. It's called Hail Mary, and I listened to it, and it's insane how I am not a science whiz. I am not a math whiz. But for the first time, I was so interested in every equation and chemical whatever thingies that he's talking about. And his entire book was basically about that. But it kind of took like a very, very different turn I wasn't expecting. But it's so detailed. And in my head, I'm like, how the heck did anyone write such a good story with so much detail without being a scientist himself? Unless he is. You know what I mean? I'm not even sure if he is a scientist. But it's insane. Like, I don't know. Look, Michael takes pictures. That's what I
Chelsea
do.
takes pictures.
Well, you write scripts, Chelsea. So.
Well, that's true. I still don't see myself as a writer, though. And you were talking about, like, how hard it is to write a story. That's so true. Like, I have found myself, because the character that we are writing about, I'm not that person, right? And so I don't know about that life. So I have caught myself Googling so many things, like, is blah, 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 blah possible? And then, like, it'll say yes. I'm like, score. Write that down. Yeah, you have to, because, I mean, there's, like, I remember reading something about Shonda Rhimes, and she's obviously not a doctor or a nurse or anything when she wrote Grey's Anatomy. And so one thing that they do on the set of Grey's Anatomy and when they're writing the scripts for that show is they have a nurse, like, on staff, and they're constantly asking these nurses, like, is being bludgeoned to death like a real possibility?
Yeah.
And the nurse is like, oh yeah, that can definitely happen. And so they're like, oh, perfect. And like, write that down.
Yeah.
So you definitely heavily rely on Google and,
and
other
actual
sources. Experts. I couldn't imagine like having to write and not having access to those people.
Well, maybe I should write a book and see how unrealistic my book will be.
That's what James said. He's like, well, I would just write something that's like super unrealistic and make sure everyone knew that. I'm like, yeah, but for me, when things are far-fetched, like, I don't buy it, you know?
Yeah.
It's just like, that can't happen in real life. Like, so I can't get into it.
Like, kind of like the Fast and the Furious franchise. Like,
oh my God.
For God's sakes. Can't these guys solve problems without driving cars?
No, they cannot.
They can only fight crime while going forward. That's basically...
While driving their fast cars.
They're driving their fast cars.
I only like those movies because Charlize Theron is in it.
I know. I was kind of like, why is she part of this? But then I watch it, I'm like, all right, fine. I mean, it's one of those movies where you literally, not literally, but you leave your brain out the door and just you walk in with popcorn and just like, all right, explosions, fire, whatever, and, it's fun. So
yeah. You have to, because if not, then you can't get into it.
No, exactly. Yeah, you just can't take it too seriously. But
Yeah, I think that's with a lot of movies. Like in honor of Shark Week, I was watching Jaws while I was eating lunch, and watching that movie as an adult. It's not the first time I watched it as an adult, but watching it as a 31-year-old, I'm like, come on, you guys. No, this doesn't happen. Like the very first scene, or maybe it's like the second scene where the guy and the girl are running to the ocean and she gets in and then all of a sudden she's getting like dragged down like by the shark. I'm like, it wouldn't happen like that. If it grabbed her leg, it wouldn't be no like, and she would, that bitch be gone. Like, come on. It pulls her down and then pushes her back up and like shoots her off like she's riding a dolphin. Like, that doesn't happen. No.
that was a clear case where Steven Spielberg did not ask an expert's opinion. So
no, so actually Steven Spielberg only directed it. He did not write it.
Oh, okay.
So
he wasn't the writer of that one?
He wasn't the writer. The guy that wrote it, he said after he wrote it and it was like a huge success in 1975, he said he has spent his entire life since then wishing that he hadn't written it. And he has also spent his, like the rest of his life's work has been within ocean conservation.
Wow, that's interesting. That's a very twist of, I don't know, what do you call it? Like a twist, like a story twist.
Well, because I mean, Jaws paints
Sharks.
ocean life and marine life and sharks especially in such a bad light.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I wasn't born and I wasn't around in 1975, but I mean, you watch that movie and no wonder everyone in like 1975 and on was deathly afraid of sharks in the ocean.
It's like when you see a shark, you want to kill it. It's not even doing anything to you, basically.
Yeah, that's their home. Like, bro, don't bother them.
They mistake people. I heard that they don't like people. I mean, they don't like eating people. They mistake divers as seals.
They do, and surfers. If you look at a surfer from like below,
and you see the paddling.
It looks like a seal. You've got two arms, which are the seal's flappers, and then the flat stomach, which is the surfboard.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not their fault. So a real turning point for me in my life with like the whole ocean conservation thing and like having such a deep compassion for ocean life was living in Hawaii. And you know, I've snorkeled so many times. I've swam with sharks. We swam with dolphins. And you see these animals and you're like, my God, they are just living their lives. Like, people need to stay out of the ocean if they want to harm these animals.
Yeah, pretty much.
You know, like, get out of the ocean. That's their home, dude.
Have you seen that documentary, the very, very sad documentary, The Cove?
No, my youngest brother was asking me about that if I'd seen that. And I'm like, no, I can't. I can't watch that.
Don't watch it. I'm not a big, I mean, obviously I'm all for, don't harm the animals, but I'm not like, I admit I'm not passionate about it like other people. Maybe I should be, but, just coming from that perspective, I watched The Cove and I'm thinking, it's going to be fine. I just wanted to see what this movie is about because everyone's talking about it. Yeah. Ooh, that was a heavy one. I definitely cannot watch it again.
I can't either.
It's so depressing.
My brother was telling me, I was like, nope, shut up.
Yeah.
Stop.
Speaking of people who wrote, or people who wrote books and books that made in movies, I don't know how I got into this. Is a terrible segue. But anyway, Stephen King, have you seen his movie, The Mist?
Yes, like forever ago, though.
It's a long time ago, right? So I remember watching that because I'm a big Stephen King fan.
Oh my God.
So it's
Me
like...
too.
It's
I love Stephen King.
I bet this movie's going to be awesome, The Mist. And I saw it, and I'm like, this is kind of terrible. Like, I don't like the movie. It's just not good. It feels like a very cheap TV production. And then the ending hits you. I don't know if you remember the ending, but the ending is probably the most memorable ending for me in any movie. I need to look it up. You have to look it up. So I don't want to spoil it, but... Stephen King actually said, because the ending was changed from the book.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, that's common.
Yeah, the director changed the ending, and Stephen King actually said he prefers the ending of the movie. Because the ending I thought was so good, like it hits you so hard that it kind of made up for the entire movie. And that's why it's one of my favorite movies.
Did it come out in 2017?
No, it's got to be... way before that, because I was in high school when I saw it. The Mist. I know there's like a couple of different iterations of it.
Okay, I found the one I saw was it was
2007.
The Mist. This is based on Stephen King's novel. Okay.
Yeah. So 2007. The director is Frank Darabont, I think, and he is the guy who directed, I think, some of the earlier episodes, or he produced or something, some of the earlier episodes of The Walking Dead. And that's why when it first started, it was just like, whoa, this is awesome. Like, he knows how to capture that human interaction type of thingy. So, yeah.
I have seen this. Yes, I've seen it. It's been years, though.
Okay, yeah. Just watch like probably the last 20 minutes of it. And I think you'll remember what happened.
Well, I saw this picture of them in the grocery store, and it was like, ding, ding, ding.
Yeah, but you have to remember the ending, Chelsea.
I know. I need to rewatch it because I don't remember the ending.
Yeah, so just watch the ending, what happened, and yeah, it's kind of crazy. I don't want to spoil it for anyone listening, but yeah. So I just thought that was something that I wanted to mention since we're
That's
talking
kind of reminiscent of. I was just reading the log line there. It kind of reminds me of A Quiet Place.
Oh, A Quiet Place, yeah.
Have you seen the second one?
I have not seen the second one. Have you seen it?
I've not. I've seen the first one.
Oh yeah, I've seen the first one. I liked it.
And Emily Blunt having to give birth in complete silence is
that was crazy.
An actual nightmare.
That was crazy. That was the scariest part. That was the
scariest part.
Yeah.
You can relate to that shit. That's why it's scary.
It's
like, could you imagine having to give birth?
She did a good job, like, acting that out.
She's incredible.
She did a very, very good job acting that out. So if you guys haven't seen, what was it again? Quiet Place. Yeah, Quiet Place. One. Go watch it. One. My wife hates horror movies, and I've been trying to urge her to watch it.
I mean, I don't even like horror movies, but because
it's just a good movie, period.
Oh my God, it's an excellent movie, like, period. Like, the writing is phenomenal. The acting, the director did a good job, which was John Krasinski. He wrote and directed, which is incredible. Yeah, I don't like horror movies. Like, The Conjuring, like, I can never get into that type of stuff, but...
I saw, like, the first two Conjurings, and I thought that was okay, because I like horror movies anyway. But the last horror movie that I really, truly enjoyed was probably... It was a Japanese horror movie. It's the Ring, the Japanese version of The Ring.
Oh my God. I have not seen the Japanese version, but the American version scared the living daylights out of me. When I was a child, I was like 12 or something whenever it came out.
I should say that the last horror movie that I really enjoyed was The Sixth Sense.
Oh God, that's been forever since I've seen that one too. See, I used to love these shows as a kid. Oh, so I was 12, 2002. I used to love these movies when I was a kid, and then now as a grown up, I'm like, no.
Which one? Which one do you think is not? Would you think if you watch The Sixth Sense today, you'll still like it, or did you not like it?
I don't remember liking it or not liking it. I just remember it being scary because I was pretty young.
Do you remember the twist at the end?
I don't. I remember I see dead people, you know.
Oh, you gotta watch it again, Chelsea.
All right.
You need to watch The Sixth Sense. Okay, this is your assignment. Watch The Sixth Sense.
I want to watch The Sixth Sense and The Ring now.
Okay.
Because I haven't seen The Ring since probably 2012 when it scared the absolute daylight out of me. I had to sleep with my dad.
Well, if you're gonna watch The Ring, I would suggest that you watch The Ring Japanese version, and it's a trilogy. So it's a very different feel. Yeah, it's with subtitles. It's
okay.
I think it's called Ringu.
I love some of my favorite movies are international movies where I have to read subtitles.
Yeah. So I think if you're going to watch The Ring, watch the original one, because I think that still is much better. Because the American version is okay. It's too flashy. It's too many special effects. It's too many. But the Japanese way of telling the story was very creepy.
Is it the same storyline?
It's basically similar. So it's the same main storyline. It's just the American version, they added extra characters and extra, for it to relate to the Western audience. You know what I mean? But for the Japanese audience, the Asian audience, it's more like it's about this family, and this and that. So I really think it's a good movie. So I think you should watch it and let me know what you think. I think it's
Yeah,
definitely yeah.
I really want to do that because like I said, I love international movies.
Okay,
Like
yeah.
some of my favorite ones, like Portrait of a Lady on Fire, is in French, and obviously I can't understand a word that they're saying, but it is an incredibly beautiful film.
What year was that movie made?
2019 it's
Oh,
new.
it's a recent film.
It's a recent film, yeah.
I've not seen. I'm. It's been so long. I kind of wish.
Yeah.
I want to go back out and watch movies.
Right.
I think kids.
Yeah.
So. But
I
people
do
are
too.
like, don't worry, the pandemic's almost done. Like, it's almost over. Everything's getting better. It's not that. I still have children.
I still have children who like to lick things. And
Who like to lick things.
You take them out in public, they're like,
Yeah, my kid yesterday, my son, my mom is in town, and so she has not seen my son yet, ever. So yesterday was the first time she saw him, yeah. And she was so excited, and my son was on the floor, and he had his, like, I just remember him sitting down, and the soles of his feet were basically black. They're so dirty.
been outside.
Yeah, and then my sister points it out, and she goes, "Ew, look at that! It's so yucky," or whatever. And he looks at it, and he licks his toe. He licks his own toe. I'm like, okay, good job.
Well,
Yeah.
good job, buddy.
Builds your immunity, your immune system. That's how you do it. Lick your own dirty feet. So
That's so true. My kids do that all the time. Like, we were at my aunt's house, which you probably saw my Insta stories. She's the one with the pool. And she lives next door to my grandparents. So it's like, we're all right there. Anyways, so we were all eating popcorn, and we had the ceiling fans outside underneath the covered porch or the patio or whatever.
Yeah.
And it like blew Lucas popcorn. Like, it took his little paper plate and just like threw his popcorn everywhere. And so instead of like just picking it up, putting it in the trash can, he's over there just sitting on the floor going, hum. And we're like, bro, this is outside. Like, inside, like her floors are super clean. Like, I wouldn't have cared. But I'm like, ew. And I was like, well, it builds his immune system. And you got to pick and choose those battles. I was already exhausted. I was like, forget it.
A lot of parents are not judging you at all. I'd say most people are not judging you. Most parents are not
I don't
judging
even care.
you. Yeah.
I don't even care if they are judging me. I'm like, you know what? You tell him not to eat it and see what happens.
Exactly. That's hilarious.
So,
I love that. Well, that's awesome. Well, Chelsea, how do we it's good to be back. It's good to finally see you. It's been 2 weeks. And I'm hoping that we can keep doing this more often. It's just, I know both of our schedules are kind of like, you know what I mean? It's like
both of our schedules are crazy. Like, it's summer, which makes things a lot more difficult. I'm all over the place. But next week, I plan on staying home. I don't know what James is doing, but I'll be able to record next week. Obviously, the next week I will be MIA again. So.
Okay, well, we definitely need to record next week then, if you're gonna be out, yeah. And I think you got to think about this too. Like, when we started Hot Coffee Creators, it was during the pandemic.
During the pandemic, this is like all we were doing was content creation.
Yeah. So I guess in a way, this is a good thing. You know what I mean? Like, that means we're getting out there again, doing things.
Yeah.
So yeah.
True.
All right. Well, again, thank you for finding the time to record, Chelsea. And always nice to see you. And to everyone else, thank you for listening. We will be back hopefully next week.
Hopefully next week. We're not going to make any promises in case my husband drags me down to Tennessee, but I'm going to kick and scream and stay home.
One of these days, you know what I'm going to do, Chelsea? One of these days when you're not available, I'll be like, you know what? I'm just going to still record, and I'm going to live stream calling you. I'll be like, Chelsea, what are you doing right now? And Chelsea's like...
You should have done that last week.
Should I?
You should have. I didn't have a mic or anything, but I had my phone, iPad.
It would have been hilarious, though, to see Chelsea freaking out because her kids are all over the place. And I'm like...
We're probably in the pool. I would have been just like, hey...
Yeah. Well, all right. Well,
all right.
I guess that's it for this week. It's nice catching up. Oh, by the way, so we do need to record some more because we have a couple of guests that are coming back. Mm-hmm. Yeah, coming back. Some favorites, and we'd love to talk to them again and just catch up and see how they've been doing since
Yes.
Geez, since the pandemic. That's crazy.
I know.
So
because we had like all of our people, all of our guests were pretty much during the pandemic.
Yeah. And so maybe we'll have a little bit more structured episode again once things once we're all back, basically.
Which makes sense.
Yeah.
It makes sense.
Yeah, that makes sense. So anyway, thank you guys for listening and watching. Maybe I don't know if I'll do the video thingy, but sorry, Chelsea. It's you who usually ends the podcast. I completely
It's
forgot about
fine.
that.
I was kind of digging it. I was like, he's doing it. All right. He's ending it.
No, I don't want to do it.
Thank you all so much once again for hanging out with your favorite coffee and pizza crew. Until next time, I'm Chelsea.
And I'm Michael.
Signing off. Bye.
Bye.